How you like that? You gon' like that? Da 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 da. You like that? Bada bing, bada boom, boom, boom. How you like that? Da 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 da. Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that? Now, look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. Look at you, now look at me. How you like that?
Okay, y'all, so let's get caught up on this whole Martell saga because there have been some updates since I posted my video yesterday morning. I just didn't really get a chance to do anything, last night or anything. Just had a lot going on, a lot of appointments and things like that, conference calls, etc. So anyway, there's been some updates, and I think these updates will help us be able to make more sense of all of the nonsense, if you will, until we actually hear from the victim, who I am assuming at this point is Melody. So until we hear from her and her camp, and again, keep in mind that everything that I say in my commentary is just my opinion. It's for entertainment. It's for fair use and all of that. Everything is alleged, as well as those who drop down in the comment section and decide to comment on the situation. Everything that they say is just their opinion. And it's all alleged. We don't know. We're just assuming, right? Until we know for sure. There are some things we do know for sure. For instance, we know for sure that Martell Holt was indeed arrested. But I just want to give some more context around that by providing the information that I do have. So, in my earlier video, I told y'all that I was vacillating between the alleged victim being Ariane or Melody, and I was also wondering how this whole thing got started. Like, what really happened? What ensued that caused him to be arrested, right? All of us were wondering that. So, according to TMZ, this all stems from a warrant. So let me go ahead and read what they had to say. I'm not going to read everything. I'm sure you may have heard some of it already or all of it already. And if you have, I apologize. Again, I just want, for the people who frequent my channel, I just want to put some context around everything and give, my views and opinions. So I do apologize if you've heard this already, but let me just go ahead and read a bit of what TMZ had to say, because I just think it helps to kind of segment some things, kind of cement some things, and helps us to put context around what exactly happened. So they reported reality star, and I'm reading from their write-up. Reality TV star Martell Holt is in police custody in Alabama, where he's been arrested on a misdemeanor domestic violence charge. Now, we know that he was arrested, what day was that? It was on the 9th? Today is the 11th? Yeah, so Tuesday. Was it at 4:01 p.m. or 4:03 p.m. and then he was released at 7:01 p.m. Right? So we do know that. So he's out now. But so this is where the whole thing, because everyone was wondering, well, where does this whole warrant thing comes from? I heard people asking that, one of my friends asked me, well, where did the warrant come from? Where are they getting that from? So I just wanted to put some context around that. It came from TMZ. They're the ones who actually reported this whole warrant thing. So it wasn't made up. Okay. Let me see what else they say here. So it goes on to say that Martell famous for starring in OWN's Love and Marriage Huntsville, was busted Tuesday afternoon in Madison County for third-degree domestic violence for allegedly sending harassing communications, according to online records. So he was arrested, and they actually, this is my breakdown, right? They actually saw proof of these harassing communications by looking online and seeing the records. Now, where they looked, whose records they looked at, we still don't know all of that, right? But I just want to put some more context around this situation. The Huntsville Police Department, the arresting agency, tells TMZ this is a misdemeanor arrest from a warrant. So again, that's where we get the whole thing from. Now, if we look at this mugshot here of Martell, I remember in my video on yesterday, I actually, at the end of the video, I noticed that at the bottom part where it talks about court disposition, it actually says closed, that the court disposition was closed. So I thought, again, it was Ariane, and that she didn't go through with it, that the whole case was closed, etc., because I just don't see Ariane really going forward with anything. And I really kind of thought this was her because of that reason. So, but that has changed again because TMZ gave us some more context by saying it was actually harassing communications. Now, that doesn't mean that Ariane wasn't harassed by Martell, but I'm just thinking this more sounds like Melody, and I'll give you some more reasons and context in just a minute. But right here where it says that the court disposition is closed is what made me really lean more towards Melody. But I got further explanation, and the explanation is it just means that the warrant part of this whole thing has been closed. The warrant was served. He showed up. He bailed out. That part is closed. But it has nothing to do with the actual charges. So, they released him. There will be a court date that he'll have to go to. And he'll have to lawyer up for that. And he'll have to face sentencing and all of that, etc., etc., allegedly. Let me just go ahead and say that, allegedly. So this isn't the end of this situation just because he's released, allegedly. Okay. Now, later on, TMZ actually, in this same write-up, they said that they reached out to Martell's camp, but they hadn't heard anything at that time. But since then, on yesterday at 1:41 p.m., they actually gave an update where they actually heard from Martell's publicist. And this publicist is, the publicist's name is Janelle Witt. So his publicist, Martell's publicist, tells TMZ, and I'm not going to read this whole thing because you might have heard this already. I've seen several bloggers actually already posting and elaborating on it. So, but I, again, just wanted to put some context for my subscribers. So they go on to say, I'm reading this quote from the publicist. We would like to issue an official statement regarding the recent allegations against Martell Holt concerning harassment text messages to his accuser dating back to August 2022. So let me stop right there. That gives even more information. They're giving us even more information than we actually had from just that, the mugshot and what TMZ previously reported. They're actually giving us, spilling more of the beans, if you will. So this situation happened back in August of 2022. Now, that doesn't mean that whoever the victim was, it doesn't mean that they filed their report back then. What we still don't know is when the report was actually filed or when the charges were actually made against Martell. We don't know. We just know that this particular situation, the harassing text message, was it happened back in August of 2022. And I feel like based on this information, it's even safer to say, in my opinion, that it's Melody, because we know that there was a lot going on with them around that particular time. There was a lot that happened back in August of 2022. So they go on to say that it is with great concern that we address these accusations. Martell Holt adamantly denies any intentional harm or harassment towards the accuser, and we believe these allegations are the result of a misunderstanding. So I'm going to stop right there, because if this is Melody, we know that it's not a misunderstanding. It was conniving. Allegedly, there was a whole plan between him, and possibly he was trying to get Ariane's buy-in with this whole plan and use her to help him put forth the plan to put this information out to make it look like Melody had been with another man and not Martell. And then he actually admitted it. You guys, I don't know if you saw the whole interview with Queen Sheba, but yeah, thousands of people did. So you probably were one of those thousands, just like myself. And we saw how she handled that situation around this particular thing, the revenge bee. She actually brought it up, right? And he tried to wiggle his way out of it. Y'all, you need to just go back and watch it, because she did such a superb job. So shout out to Queen Sheba. She did a superb job at rearing him back in and getting him to answer the questions. Actually, in my opinion, he admitted that, this was his plot. This was his plan. This is what he was going to do, because he was upset with her. So I heard some people saying that you can provoke someone. It doesn't matter. It doesn't make it right. It doesn't make it wrong. I mean, it doesn't make it right. It's still wrong, right? Because at the point that you are provoked to do anything, you still have a choice to either go forward and do the foolish thing, whatever it is. At the point someone is poking at you, you still have a choice to stop and think about it, to get yourself together, to redirect your energy, and to pull back from doing whatever the thing is that you might feel like doing at that particular point in time. Doesn't make it right. I don't care how angry somebody makes you. And of course, Martell gets angry when things don't go his way. So I'm sorry, y'all. I'm just not buying that crap. And if it's not Melody and it's another victim, and this particular victim was provoked, I still say the same thing. I stand on that. It's wrong. It's a horrible thing to do to somebody, especially sharing such an intimate moment like that, going back to Melody, when this was something between you and your husband. It's disgusting. So I don't care what anyone has to say. And then there's one of the Scott brothers, Mark Scott, who made a comment, something to the effect of, all of this is because of a bitter woman upset over her marriage, which failed 4 years ago. Now, this man has zero cares for Melody, in my opinion. So this is something typical. I'm not surprised he would say something like this. He spews a lot of venom out of his mouth when it comes to Melody and her mom anyway. So yeah, I'm not surprised he would say anything like this. This to me speaks more to his character than anybody else's. And like I said, he has zero cares for her anyway. It also, in my opinion, by hearing him put this statement out, points to the victim allegedly being Mel. Yeah, because he has the most disdain for her. And then another thing that points to the victim being Melody is that Marceau actually issued a statement to some news outlet, and I believe I was listening to Diana Rose. Shout out to her too. She actually stated, I believe it was Diana. She stated that Letitia and Marceau actually did like some charity work in December, and they were on the news, and that news station perhaps reached out to them. I think it was her. It was either her or Queen Sheba, but I think it was Diana. Anyway, shout out to both of the ladies. I'm fans of both of them. But anyway, I believe she stated that TV station, or it was her belief that television station reached out to Marcel to see if he knew anything about this situation. And he did issue a statement stating that he is aware of the situation and he's praying for everyone involved. So again, I think it's Melody. It doesn't necessarily mean that. I mean, he's saying he's aware of the situation. So, of course, Martell's involved. But then yesterday morning, before I left for work, I actually saw on my IG where Micah, this is another Scott brother. Man, all these Scots with something to say. But anyway, another Scott brother had issued, prayers for the entire cast of Love and Marriage Huntsville. And of course, people were getting down in the comments. I really didn't have time to kind of look at it. And by the time I got back home last night, I was just too busy to actually post it and do a video around it. I wanted to do this video actually earlier. But yeah, for me, it's a strong feeling that this is Melody. And, some people are upset that he, of all people, would have posted that. And I get it. But I also get that I feel like, of course, we all need prayer. But that cast, they have a lot going on with all the loans that aren't being paid. The liens, the judgments, the being behind on paying taxes, all of this money that's owed, all of these people that are coming after the different castmates, all of the situations that we see played out, even in their relationships and their family dynamic, all of that, we can all afford some time to pray for this cast, to get it together. I don't know, to overcome the challenges that they face, right? Like, everyone could use a prayer. But I think the thing is, it just seems like, you got Scots coming out of everywhere with something to say. And we all feel like there's just too many of them anyway. And so, yeah, it's just kind of weird that they're commenting. Of course, we haven't heard anything from Maurice. Now, when it comes to Melody, some people are saying that, they can't wait for her to say something. But if this is a pending case, it wouldn't be wise for Melody to say anything, y'all. No, not at all, because she has to be very careful, and especially in a case, in my opinion, with this type of sensitivity. She can't say anything, or she shouldn't. Miss Van can't say anything, or she shouldn't. And I'm sure that Melody is going to use wisdom when she says anything to anyone. So there will only be certain people that she would discuss this with. And those people aren't going to discuss it with anybody. So I know that Jay Taylor actually stated that he didn't know this to be Melody, right? And again, that doesn't mean it's not Melody. It just means that Melody didn't tell Jay. It doesn't mean that she doesn't have a love for Jay or a trust for Jay. But you just have to be careful with how you move in situations like this. Martell's not really saying anything because, well, he can't. He can't say anything. It's a pending lawsuit, right? It's a pending case. Now, allegedly, I heard that he was under a gag order, and that would make sense. It would make sense that they would all, whoever is involved, be under a gag order. But anyway, y'all, that is a wrap for me for this video. Like I said, I will keep you updated as much as I can on my end. But in the meantime, y'all, go ahead and hit that like button on your way out if you didn't hit it on your way in. And that is a wrap, y'all. Until next time, ciao.